stopping by again this morning, Rachel.
Oh, it's my pleasure, of course. Praise the Almighty. And what would I be doing instead? Arise well before the first light of dawn, just so I can continue my knitting.
Well, your quilts are the finest in all our Capernaum. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, I enjoy seeing the children each morning as we do.
As do I. I am so glad that Ada and Joanna bring them here each morning.
And now Sapphira has joined our little breakfast conference as well.
Yes, yes. And now that young John and she have become betrothed, I suspect it will not be long before we have a few more little mouths to feed here each morning.
Praise the Lord. Oh, but let's face it. Now that my Zebedee has partnered with your Simon, there are no better fishermen on the lake than our two families.
You are so right. Yes, we are so very blessed that, unlike many of our people today, here in this house, there's always plenty for all. Oh, good morning, children. Good morning. Have a seat.
Good morning, ladies. Good morning.
How are you? Joanna, good morning.
Good morning.
Rachel, good to see you.
Once again, we bring our children for our early morning visit.
Oh. And if we're lucky, children, your fathers will bring home some delicious tilapia fish for our breakfast this morning.
Does that mean we're going to have fish breath again today?
Such an ungrateful child you are to talk like that. Maybe we should make you some stone soup, like some of the other children get.
How true, how true. Be lucky you can have a breakfast.
At least our nose tells us when Daddy's home.
Hey, I heard that.
Good morning, Sophia. How are you, dear?
But can't we sometimes have...
Oh, just hush, child. There's nothing to complain about. This is Capernaum. Everyone here smells like fish.
And proud of it, are we not?
I remember when I was younger, traveling to the capital Sepphoris when I was just betrothed to my beloved Zebedee, and wondering why everyone there would ask, "So, how are things in Capernaum these days?" How did they all know, I used to wonder.
Well, is it any wonder that the matchmaker looks only among fishermen for us?
I remember when I was young, I once stopped to talk to a handsome young stonemason coming up from Jerusalem for his work. As I spoke, the poor boy kept grabbing at his nose. Even his eyes began to water. After no more than 3 minutes talk, I thought that poor boy was going to pass out.
So did he, Ada?
Oh, I don't know. I left him to his work just to spare him the embarrassment.
Well, ladies, is it any wonder that we are all married to fishermen? We carry on a strong tradition here in our little seaside paradise.
And a strong aroma. No. The sweet smell of our beloved Capernaum.
Well, good women of Capernaum, what's to complain? We are all blessed. Our men have partnered together in a rather successful business partnership, and for better or worse, they do know how to fish.
Hear, hear, amen to that. We are blessed as anyone knows.
Our special gift, the wonderful Jewish nose.
So raise your glass and take a drink.
I'm so happy that we stink.
Well, the Almighty certainly has blessed us this night, Andrew.
You said it, Brother Simon. This boat most likely was our best catch of the month.
Well, John, I guess we better get this fire started, huh? What a wonderful night of fishing, huh? Praise the Almighty for that. But we're going to spend half our day trying to smoke half of this catch now.
That was fun, Father. You know, That's the kind of fishing I wish we could be blessed with every night.
Life is good.
Yes, and it'll get a lot better when that fire started and we warm up.
I'm working on it, Simon. I'm working on it.
I'm sure that Brother James and I are going to spend half of our day just mending our nets.
No doubt, little brother. That first net was so full, I thought the fish were going to pull you in with them.
Yeah, I've got to work harder to get more ballast on my belly, like you, Brother James.
Oh, no, not work harder, John. You need to eat harder.
That's right, John. You gotta put some meat on those bones.
Yeah, right. So who in Capernaum puts real meat on their bones? Everyone in this town eats fish.
And thank the Almighty for that, son. Why do you think I did not start some kind of a sheep business when I was your age?
We have potatoes and wine too, no? Hey, little brother, give me a hand with these nets. We tore a lot more than we usually do tonight.
Sure thing.
Well, I'll tell you guys, fish or meat or whatever, every day I thank the Almighty for bringing the four of you into my life and into my business. Simon and Andrew, because you have joined my sons James and John, you have allowed my business to grow better than I ever hoped.
Oh, good Zebedee. It's Andrew and I who should thank you. Heaven forbid that we would have struck out on our own, only to have been struck down in competition with you and James and John.
My brother is right. You know the Sea of Galilee like no one else.
And you know every little hidden hole at the bottom of the sea that catches certain kind of fish in its depths.
Remember when he used to tell us about how he could talk to the fish?
Well, so you were a demented old man even before your time, huh, Zebedee?
Well, I suppose sometimes to my Rachel that might be true.
That much is true, Father. Although I cannot recall a single time that you have come home from a night's fishing with an empty net.
Oh, or any night when I came home with painless knees. I used to spend half my night out on the boat, praying to our God that some lost fish might finally find its way into one of my doggone nets already.
But you have mastered the entire sea now, Zebedee.
And you seem to know every shallow cove.
And every little hole in the depths that catches only certain kind of fish.
And you know when I can wait no longer to finally, relieve myself out there, and how that drives all the fish away, you tell me.
That would drive anyone away, little brother.
Well, I will tell you, for as I've told you many times before, you together are the fulfillment of a lifelong dream of mine. Oh, how I always hoped that I might build a business that would not only take care of my own family, but that might also help perhaps some of my neighbors and friends in their time of need, should there be. Oh, it is a dream that I have always held close to my heart, ever since you four were very young. You know, I used to love watching the four of you play together when you were little.
Don't you mean fighting together, Papa?
Well, that was after the plague. You were fighting the wrong people.
Do you speak of our Greek and Roman friends, Zebedee?
Friends, Johnny? You would call the Greeks and the Romans our friends?
I can see them at the shore. It looks like they have quite a lot of work to do yet, or are talking about something or other.
Well, children, looks like it might be a while before your father's return with our breakfast this morning.
I hope that means they had a good catch last night.
I hope it does not mean they have caught nothing and are thinking of ways of telling us.
So what can we have for breakfast? Yeah, how about anything but fish this time?
Oh, why don't we give them some of that grain cereal then? Oh, and Sapphira, could you grab a few eggs from the hen house, please?
Yes, of course. Children, how many eggs would you like with your cereal?
2 for me. 100.
100. Got it. Be right back.
Oh, dear.
Rachel?
Yes, Sandisha, what's on your mind? Heaven forbid you look so serious.
Well, worried, actually.
Sandisha, are you talking about our Simon and Andrew's conversation from the other night?
Oh, well, what happened the other night?
They had gone to listen to that new rabbi from Nazareth.
Yes. What was his name again?
His name is Jesus. My James has heard him speak several times now. My brother-in-law John thinks of him very fondly. He says that he is wholly different than any rabbi he has ever heard before.
I have heard of him, but I have not yet heard him speak. Well, what does he speak about?
I don't know exactly, but my Simon has said that he has never been so inspired by the words of any other rabbi, the way he has been by this one.
My James says the same.
And Zebedee's younger brother Tobias said the same about Judas the Galilean 24 years ago.
Poor Tobias. May he be at home with our God these many years since.
If he is, he chose the most torturous path to his God that a man can choose.
My Simon has spoken about returning to this Jesus on a more regular basis, to this Jesus of Nazareth, returning to hear him speak further. I can sense him changing, Rachel, and I have to say, I'm frightened.
We're in luck this morning, children. The Almighty, may He be praised, has inspired the hens to do some of their best work. Joanna and Adat, could you help me with these, please?
Of course.
Sandisha, did I hear you say you were frightened about something?
Actually, yes, I think we all are a little.
About what then? I sure hope one of you is not pregnant again.
That would be a blessing, but no.
A blessing? We nearly lost you when this one was born.
Believe me, with that much pain, at the time, death would have been a blessing.
But you know, after talking with you this morning, I thought it was only my Andrew. But it seems that all of our husbands, even your John, Sapphira, are quite taken with this new rabbi.
The rabbi? Jesus? Yes, my John has spoken to me quite often about him, and in ways that he has never spoken about another before. He sounds like a very nice man, and my John says that he speaks with a wisdom quite beyond his age.
Those are the words of my James as well.
And my Andrew. But, Sandisha, what does older, wiser, level-headed big brother Simon have to say?
Yes, Sandisha. When Zebedee can no longer go out onto the lake, it is clear that your Simon will take over the leadership of the business. Everyone listens to what he has to say.
And with good reason, my John says.
He spoke to me only this week about leaving the fishing business for a bit. in order to travel throughout Galilee, maybe even helping to further spread his teachings.
You must stop him, Sindisha. That is exactly what happened to our Tobias. He was young and excitable, and he was going to change the world. And he dropped everything. And he loved fishing every bit as much as his brother Zebedee. But he left it. He left us in order to follow Judas the Galilean. It cost him his life.
Well, we sure seemed to have a fine catch of tilapia last night, huh?
Yeah, and plenty of the unclean fish as well. I'm sure we caught all 3 kinds of carp in our nets last night.
Good. Then we'll be the ones to profit from the heathen's bad taste in fish.
I can't believe they actually like that stuff. That's disgusting.
Yes, but don't tell them that. When they come to collect my taxes, I give them those fish instead.
Wait, really? Does that work?
Well, only when I tell them that, oh, you can take anything you want. Oh, but please don't take my rare bottom dwellers. They are a delicacy among our people. So, of course, that's what they take. I used to have to throw those fish back in. Now they command a pretty good price. Thank the Almighty for his wisdom.
How could people like that be so powerful yet so stupid?
Anyone who eats carp, the garbage fish, is disgusting.
I wish that was the only thing disgusting about them.
Hey, good morning, fellas. Good morning. A little birdie told me that your nets were loaded down pretty good this morning.
Well, speaking of disgusting.
Hey. How you guys doing?
Morning, Simon. We've got plenty of carp for the market for you.
And plenty of tilapia for our own buyers as well.
Ooh, excellent. That's good to hear. I love when you guys have a good night like this, but I especially love taking heathen money. Oh, wait. Have you guys heard the latest news from Sepphoris?
Wait.
I don't know what it is, Simon, but you just don't get a lot of news when you're out on the water all night.
This guy. It's all over the marketplace. Let me be the first to tell you.
Wait, son. Wait. Let me get to the edge of my seat.
We have had a great victory, James.
A great victory. What are we talking about?
Do you all remember meeting my good friend Aaron in the marketplace?
Yes, a large man. A stoneworker, is he not?
Yes.
Wait, Simon. Isn't that the guy that showed us his dagger that he keeps hidden under his cloak?
Exactly, John. He is one of our Sakari.
Sakari? Oh, no. You're talking about the ones with daggers who roam the streets at night just looking for some heathen magistrate to pounce on in a dark alley? I thought they'd all been caught or suppressed by Herod Antipas or the Romans themselves.
Not true, Simon, not true.
What? What have they? Are there still more of them now? Have they all gone underground, Simon?
Yes, Zebedee.
Oh,
They
no.
grow in number with each passing day. And last night, my friend Aaron did us all a favor and got rid of that mercenary tax collector Sulpicius for us.
Sulpicius was an evil man.
I despise that animal from the very moment I laid my eyes on him.
Yes, John. I too. But once again, the hornet's nest has been stirred up. And every time that happens, It's our people who get stung the worst.
You're right, Brother Simon. And once again, their punishment will be severe.
What are you two talking about? What are we supposed to do? Just let these heathens run roughshod over us? We are the chosen people, not them. We must show them that with the blade.
Simon! You speak with great courage and conviction, Simon. But we know that you have begun to number yourself among these zealots, haven't you?
We are zealots for the law of Moses, and we must remind them of that every chance we get.
Yes. And that is the same way that Judas the Galilean spoke so many years ago, Simon.
70. That was 24 years ago. Who even remembers that?
I do! Simon, the fire that I see in your eyes is the same fire that I saw in my little brother Tobias. He was only 17 years old, and he was going to change the world. So he joined with this Judas the Galilean. And when news showed up in Capernaum of the massacre wrought by violence, I traveled to Sepphoris to try to find my brother. And I did find him, Simon. And 2,000 of his fellow rebels crucified on every road coming into and out of the city. Don't ask me who remembers Simon. I sat beneath his cross for 10 days, listening to his cries of anguish, with those God-forsaken heathen Romans walking around, making sure nothing we could do to ease their suffering, or end it finally as I so long to do. Don't ask me who remembers Simon. I remember every day, every night. And I will never, ever forget it.
I'm sorry, my good friend. I'm sorry.
Zebedee, I've never heard you speak about this in that way before.
Papa, we've never known this. You've never spoken of this to any of us.
How does one risk having his heart torn out of his body once again at the memory of the suffering of my wonderful little brother Tobias? Simon, I'm sorry. My anger was not meant for you. I'm sorry.
Think nothing of it, my good friend. It is I who is sorry.
Simon, all I want to say to you is, you must wait. You must wait. There can be no victory. It doesn't matter how many zealots or Sicarii you have. You must wait, Simon.
Zebedee, wait for what?
For the Messiah. You must wait for the Messiah. There can be no victory without him to lead us. You must wait. Or you will all suffer the same fate as my little brother.
All right, children. You finished eating. Now shoo, go outside and play so your moms can eat.
You must understand, there are many differences between men and women.
You don't say, Rachel.
If you want to show some wisdom, Rachel, tell us something that men and women are the same on, because heaven forbid, I have yet to have much luck in that quest.
My guess would be is that the Almighty has given us smaller bodies, so that in his wisdom, he has given us women much bigger brains.
Then let us raise a toast to big-bodied, small-brained men.
Hear, hear.
And to us women, who who keep them on an even keel in this life.
Hear, hear.
All of you are too young to know. But I fear the winds of change are once again sweeping across our land.
We've all noticed that you have not been yourself these last weeks, Rachel. Tell us, what is it that worries you so?
It's hard to understand why you're so worried, Rachel. My Andrew's fishing business with his brother Simon, and this past year with James and young John, it started to blossom for all of us.
Yes, why just last week, my James was saying how they've had to hire yet another hand to help them.
Yes, and my John said that there's been many who have asked to work for them.
Well, thank you, and what you all say is true. But although I must say, Sandisha, Zebedee has shown great confidence in your assignment.
That's so good to hear. Thank you.
My James said that his father's business has increased twofold since the boys have started to partner with Simon and Andrew.
My John has as nearly much respect for Simon as his own father these days.
I hear the same. And I know that Zebedee is feeling very confident about turning the business over to Simon and taking a well-deserved back seat to him.
I know that Simon would be honored.
So then, tell us, Rachel, why have you been so worried lately?
Yes, is your Zebedee threatening to start cooking when he retires?
Heaven help us. That would be the 11th plague. No, it's not really Zebedee I'm worried about. It's what he hears at the tavern and on the shore.
Rachel, what is he hearing?
There is much talk about the coming of the Messiah.
Maybe that's just more of the men's idle talk.
Yes, Rachel. Doesn't talk of the Messiah always start up again whenever the tax collectors show up?
I mean, yeah. We have been waiting for our Messiah for hundreds of years. I'd be shocked if he came in our lifetime.
Yes, and even the Messiah would need an army. And we have no army.
Zebedee says he hears that another one is beginning to form.
What?
Where?
How?
You have all met the merchant Simon that our men have partnered with to sell their fish.
Yes, of course, we all have.
So what about him?
Zebedee says that everyone has taken to calling him Simon the Zealot now.
But, Rachel, the business is going so well. Why would he consider numbering himself among the zealots?
I can't answer that, Ada. Maybe he feels his risk is low since he has no wife or children.
But Rachel, my Simon and I have no children either.
I know. And Zebedee says that one day things will be coming soon. That this will happen. And he listens to your Simon and to your Andrew, Ada, about how fervently they have been discussing this new rabbi, Jesus, and with our James and young John as well.
Oh, don't tell me they're getting sucked in by this man.
Zebedee says he has heard all four of them talking about stopping the fishing for a while in order to follow him all over Galilee.
What?
No, that's crazy. My John would never do something like that.
How would we eat?
What would your children eat?
How would we live? Ugh, men and their pea-sized brains.
You must talk to them, all of you. You can't let this happen. You may not remember Judas the Galilean, but those of us who lived through his revolt can never forget the absolute devastation it brought to so many of our families. And like Zebedee has always said many times, we can do nothing until the chosen Messiah arrives on the land. And to my knowledge, no such man has yet appeared.
I can't believe why John would abandon his father and his brother to do something as crazy as this.
I will do everything in my power to wipe that thought from my Andrew's mind.
The fishing business is going so well. Why would my Simon even consider leaving Zebedee for something so risky, so dangerous, so crazy as this?
I will kill my James if he even brings this up. Why, we'll starve.
Simon, I feel I must tell you, this Jesus that you talk about, he does not seem to be the kind of man that we have been told to expect as our Messiah.
But Zebedee, you have not even heard this Rabbi Jesus speak. How can you talk like this?
You should come with us, Father.
John, you are young, John, and you have much to learn about the world.
You just have no idea what's been going on these last few months.
Oh, really? Really, Simon? I have no idea. You speak with great courage, great conviction, Simon, but you know not of this world either, I think. Look, the business is doing so well right now. Do you really want to abandon all of this now?
But Zebedee, we would never leave you.
Oh, really?
We've talked among ourselves about this since this Jesus have arrived.
He is a rabbi, Father, like we have never seen before.
Yes, John, yes, Andrew.
And he speaks with such power, like this country has never seen before.
And Judas the Galilean was also a man like this land had never seen before. You have no idea what you are getting yourself into.
Zebedee, it is you who does not know what's been going on these last few months.
Oh, is that right, Simon? Or is it Simon the Zealot, as so many have taken to calling you now?
Yes, I am zealous for the law of Moses.
And your zeal will get you killed, Simon!
For the law of Moses? I can accept that. What has happened to you, Zebedee? Have you been so trampled upon by these heathens that you have lost your courage to fight for your God?
And who will lead you in this holy war of yours, Simon? Who?
How about this new Rabbi Jesus?
Oh, this carpenter. Where's he from?
He is from Nazareth, Father. Nazareth.
Oh, Nazareth. So he knows well of the power of these Romans. Nazareth is only 4 miles from Sepphoris, and the valley between those two towns is only that 4 miles. That's where the devastation, the massacre was wrought by Parish so many years ago. Wait, how can this man not know of the violence, of the power of these Romans? What is this man, a fool?
I assure you, Father, this man's no fool. He's a man of God like no other.
A man of God, Andrew? A man of God? Have you seen this Jesus wield a sword? Have you seen him lead an army into combat? Have you seen any of this in this rabbi figure of yours? A man of God, you say. A man of God! Simon, what are your thoughts on this?
I've heard him speak many times now, Zebedee. He carries no sword. He speaks not about rebellion. Only rarely have we seen him get angry, and that was only towards those who refused to love one another.
What?
These last few months, he's become a friend to all of us.
Oh, I'll bet he has.
At first, hundreds would come to listen to him speak, mostly because John the Baptizer had told everyone, this was the man we've been waiting for. That's why my brother first brought me to see him just a few months ago.
John the Baptizer. A good man. But where is he now? May he rest in peace.
But now, Zebedee, there are thousands wherever he goes. And we have seen him work wonders. Why, he speaks openly to the women, even women of Samaria. He hugs the poor, the blind, the lame, the outcast, even the lepers.
And he heals every one of them. Just last week, we witnessed him drive 7 demons out of a woman from Magdala who had been possessed by them for over a year.
And we have witnessed, Zebedee, right before our very eyes, him bringing a deceased young boy back to life.
But how do the 5 of you know that you're not just being taken in by some other magician like that Holy the Circle Drawer, or Simon Baptist, who's given quite a big name for himself, but who most people feel is just a charlatan trying to get our shekels?
Because we believe him to be a man exceptionally close to God.
Oh, close to our God. So he lets you see him praying a lot, does he?
No, Zebedee. When he prays, he goes off by himself. And where Moses was told to call our God no more than he who is, Jesus calls him Papa.
What? He calls our God Papa?
And he tells everyone to do the same. He says our God is not who we believe him to be. He's not a God of wrath. He's a God of love.
Who does this rabbi think he is? Listen. I have known you all far too long to think that when I hear the heart in your words, the way I have heard you over the last several weeks speaking among yourselves about this man, I've known you far too long to know that there's going to be anything I can say that's going to change your minds.
We all are, Zebedee. We just didn't know how to tell you.
We will not be gone for so long, Papa. We will learn from Jesus, and then we will return.
So you're all going to leave this business, aren't you?
Yes.
Then I love the five of you so much because I know you so well. And I know that because I cannot change your minds, I have only one thing left for me to do. And that's to offer you my blessing as you travel with this new man. But I must also say that I will hold you close in my prayers every day and every night. And now, there's only one thing left for you to do. And that's to explain all of this all over again. But this time, to your wives.